Hello and welcome back to the workshop. Now, many moons ago I did a short video on the Hemmerly K31 Springer airgun insert, and in that video I mentioned cryptically that there was another system that I would eventually get round to, and here I am. I present to you the Lienhard system. Now, Lienhard was a very successful marksman in the 1920s in particular. In the international competitions he won, well, let's say quite a few competitions. In 1922, 300 metre gold, free rifle prones, 300 metre free rifle kneeling silver, 1924 silver 300 metre army rifle kneeling, 1925 bronze 300 metre army rifle prone, gold 300 metre free rifle prone, brace of silvers, 1927 bronze 300 metre free rifle kneeling, team gold in 1929 50 metre free rifle, and not to mention the Olympics, 1920, 1929, 1948. In 1920 he was part of the bronze winning team for free rifle 300 metre and 600 metre. God, they had proper shooting competitions in the Olympics in those days. Anyway, all that to say, he was definitely on the ball when it came to all things shooting, and he obviously turned his talents to devices to enable people to practice at home or in places where, in confined places, shall we say. And so here we have two sets. There are many variations, but these are probably the two most common ones you'll see. On here we have a insert for the K31, G11 and K11, and this one is specifically for the Parabellums. So let's just crack these boxes open and see how this all works. Right, let us start with the older of the two systems I have. This one is for rifles, carbines, and also free rifles, Stutzers. It claims to instantly transform all such things into indoor gallery rifles. So, a very potent claim there. We have a stern-looking Mr. Lienhard there on top. Here is his target from the St. Gallen International Meet in 1925 with a grand score of 384 points. That's out of 400 in the prone position. Down here we have a target which we should be able to achieve with this system here at 10 meters, so something to aspire to. And the famous German saying, Übung macht den Meister, practice makes perfect, which they apply to pretty much any sense of sport or hobby or, well, life generally. Right, anyway, inside we have some period instructions, which I'll get back to in a second. We have a selection of targets with a 9 and 10 ring black. It recommends shooting for rifles between 4 and 9 meters and pistols between 3 and 5 meters. We also have smaller versions with the 2 targets. There's a whole score of different sorts of targets and silhouettes and all sorts to go with them. Here's some advertisements for other products. Here's a little swiveling silhouette target that was also available. Looks pretty cool. And we had a backstop. I won't say catcher because there's nothing here underneath to catch any debris. That was something that features in the other one. But obviously Mark 1 here didn't feature it. And here we have a tub of mystical yellow Waffenfett for oiling, greasing your gun once you've used this system. Here we have the ammunition, basically. It came as a mixed lot of lead balls and burden primers. Now these are actually just normal large rifle burden primers, so let's say, I wouldn't say readily available, but you can still get them about. You have little cleaning brushes, you have a little cleaning brush for the barrel insert, all sorts of bits and bobs for cleaning, and the essentials are these two parts. We have a barrel insert, which is micro grooved, which sits in the barrel, and this section here sits in the chamber. These two black sections are actually greased thread. Now they serve firstly to protect the rifling in the barrel from this steel insert, and it also centers the whole assembly inside the bore. And then we have this two-part cartridge, which is bayonet fitted into two sections. Now I shall use the period drawings to explain exactly what happens. It's rather easy. I shall take this as my pokey thing. So here we have the barrel insert and the cartridge in two parts, as I said. The rear part has a sprung firing pin and has a seat here at the top where the burden primer sits, and the top cup has a sharp lip here on the tip of the cone. And what one would do once the primer was loaded and the cap screwed on, you would get one of the lead balls and press the cone firmly on top of it so that it cuts into the lead a bit. You would then chamber the cartridge, and when you get something resembling this inside the chamber, and upon firing, the firing pin would ignite the burden primer, propelling the ball through the rifling and on target. Now, be mightily impressed, because you'll notice that this section is threaded into the back of the cartridge. This means, ladies and gentlemen, that this cartridge is able to be adjusted for headspace. Yes, even headspace is important when training indoors. So, there we have it. That's how that works. Now, the pistol insert works very much in the same way. I'll just show you in a second. But obviously there's not much room for a barrel insert that runs through the chamber. So this one has the same targets. Here, as I said, we have actually a bullet catcher, which has been thoroughly used, as you can see, through the decades. We have a different type, but still the same. No, these are just primers actually, but primers, and I'm guessing you would have balls on one side and primers in the other originally. So you'd get 250 in a tin. This would be Synoxide rust-free ammunition for your Lienhard apparatus. And then we have a little metal Parabellum cartridge. This is also then to accept a burden primer, which you just put in with your finger. And again, this sharp rim to press into a lead ball. And then the barrel in this case consists of a sort of bayonet cap, if you will, with a threaded portion, as before, with its greased thread part to protect the bore and centre it. And you would put this on in, actually, instead of waffling, I can just show you. Take one parabellum, insert the barrel, and then, just like a bayonet fitting, you load it in. You have a adjustable front sight now to compensate for the short distance you're going to be firing at. And again, you have this notion of headspace adjustment by screwing in or out the barrel, the insert inside the barrel, so it then protrude more or less inside the chamber. And with this in place, you chamber around in there, close the bolt, fire, and eject manually, obviously, and carry on. So, this is how it all works in practice. I mean, in theory. Let's see how it works in practice. So, here we are on the range. Our target is there at about 4 meters. And here is our loading bench. Now the insert's already been installed, and I'll just load these up. Primer just sits in there. I'll do 5 shots and see what I can do with those. There we are. And then you get your lead ball and press down firmly. There we are, a loaded round. One. Now, for anyone who asks, you can't use these in a magazine. The reason is simply that the grip here is friction only, and they just wouldn't stand up to feeding through the magazine. Primer would be alright, but the ball would fall out. So there we go. Now, since this was the 1930s, I only feel it's appropriate that the appropriate stance should be used for shooting, like this fine gentleman here. Let's see what we can do. Alright, round 1. Yep. A little bit to the left. Okay, you get the idea. So, here's the result of those 4 shots. Nice little group of 3 there, and a bit of a silly one up there. So, obviously I need to adjust the sight, front sight, a little bit to get that group in the middle. And, well, there you go. It's good fun. It's a bit smelly with the primer, obviously. So, I think best confined to garages or outdoors. Unless you have a particularly agreeable partner who doesn't mind the smell of primer compound in the house. Right, we'll go upstairs to the hayloft and try the carbine out on with the other kit. Right, here we are in the barn. Rifle is at 7 meters, and here's the target. Let's see what it does. So, the barrel insert has been pushed in as far as it can go. Basically it gets seated once you insert the first cartridge. So I've loaded 4 and hopefully they'll all go off. See what happens. Right, let's just see how that was. So, nicely centred, string of 4 there, so obviously not too steady with my alignment. But hey, definitely got potential. I'm sure with enough practice you could probably get that target that they put on the front of the box. Makes a satisfying pling noise when it strikes the plate. So, yes. Good fun all round. So here we are at the end. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed exploring this system, which basically could be used on anything. It's underwent quite a number of variations as time went by. One particular one was basically introducing a mini cartridge which just included the rim of GP11, a short tube section, and then the little bullet biting cone, which meant that the rest was a solid piece with the barrel section. So it meant it was much easier to get the little cartridge in and out rather than messing about with the 2-part system. Hopefully a little picture will pop up in some corner. Further variations you can check out if you go to swisswaffen.com. Under accessories there's a whole list of them. This was also available in a variation for the SIG 210. You could of course use it in the K31, and in fact the system is still in use today. Swiss Waffen make a version for the SIG 550 and family, which includes a 223 shaped insert, which takes a primer and a 22 pellet. And because it's an airgun pellet, you don't need a barrel insert due to the 223 barrel. So the pellet sets up and goes on its merry way. And I believe even that the bloke has one, so we might get to play with that at some point. Anyway, thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out, as usual, our Facebook pages. Lots of things going on there, ongoing projects, aspects of Swiss life, etc. And also, if you wish to contribute to Patreon, we'd be most welcome. Thank you, and bye.